everyone, it's Shari Carroll for the beginner series of stamping for Simon Says Stamp, and today I'm going to show you how to ink up your stamps. So you now have some clear stamps and a few ink pads and also a rubber stamp, and I'm going to show you just one of the best ways that you can do to ink your stamps is to go ahead and open your ink pad. With the image facing up on your block, just go ahead and tap that ink pad right onto the stamp. Now, I'm known to be an over inker, and I go back over several times because my theory is to take the time now to really ink up your stamp so you get a really great impression the first time when you go to stamp onto your paper. So once you have that well inked, go ahead and just line that up onto your paper and go ahead and press down. And I do like to rock and roll it just a little bit. But once you're done, you get a really great image. So now I have more of a solid image, and this is a flower. And with the image up, again, I'm going to go ahead and tap my ink onto it. Sometimes when I have a new stamp, I like to season it, and I'll stamp it off onto scrap paper first, and then re-ink again. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and just add several taps of ink onto there, and now I can go ahead and press that right onto the paper. Sometimes once I have my stamp inked up and I've used it, I'll go ahead and tap the stamp onto the ink pad, especially when the stamp is smaller than the ink pad. And then I can press that on and get a really great impression. Next, I'll show you how I ink up a larger stamp. This is a 6x6 ink pad, and I'm using a pink ink. You might not be able to see it as well, but this is a whole sheet of flamingos, so they have to be pink. So what I'd like to do is to kind of tap in rows, and then I go back over several times. You can kind of see where that's darkening up as I add the ink, but I'm going to make sure that I cover the entire surface of this big stamp. It's easiest for me to see where I'm inking, so that's why I like to have the image up and tap the ink right onto my stamp. So I'm going to go back over one more time just to make sure I have ink in all those areas, and I'll give it a quick inspection, and once I'm happy with that, I'm ready to stamp on my paper. How I like to stamp with these large stamps that are larger than my cardstock is that I like to lay my cardstock right onto the stamp. So I'm going to grab a piece of white cardstock. I'm just going to go ahead and line that up, and then I get a scrap of paper and I lay that on top and just run my hands over the top. This paper allows my hands to run around and my paper underneath, or my cardstock underneath, doesn't shift. So I'm getting really great pressure. I can go ahead and lift up my stamped piece, and there are my pink flamingos. I hope I've given you some helpful tips on how to ink up your stamps for successful stamping. And as always, thanks for watching.